On the 14th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me the fear of being single and lonely. It's podmas, bitches. I'm scrolling TikTok at 3 a.m. because my nervous system's too fucked to go to sleep and I feel too anxious to put my phone down. Is that why I'm having an existential crisis? There are always going to be a million other things you could have decided to do. I'm broken. I can't believe that for the first 12 days of Podmas, I didn't sit in front of the Christmas tree. I'm so annoyed at myself. I am an idiot. Well, maybe next year. So I'm not sure I have anything profound to say on being single and lonely, but that's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. And I'm sure it is for you as well, especially if you've been watching Christmas films and you've realized that every single Christmas film, the narrative is the same. Two people must find love or they are going to be miserable for the holidays and forever. So this is the episode for you. If you just want to sit and you want to talk about being single, being lonely, this is my stream of consciousness verbal diarrhea of what it feels like to be single. And also, I mean, a few episodes ago I did scared to have kids and scared to not have kids. This is scared to be single and scared to not be single. Before we get into it, let's do the check-in jar. My hand is stuck. Girls, there is basically no prompts left in the check-in jar. There's only 2 left. I need you to put a check-in in this prompt jar by going to the link in my bio and submitting it, or just send me a DM on Instagram, but there's literally a submission form. It's so easy. Otherwise, this podcast is going to fail and it is going to be your fault. Oh, okay. This was a submission. I'm going to keep them anonymous, I think, but this was a submission from the We're All Like Other Girls girls. It is, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be? I want to be someone who people can come to when they need something. I want to be someone who you leave better than you find. So when you come to me, whether it is with something you're struggling with that you need support with, or you just come to me because we meet and we're friends, or you come to me because you buy something from me, or I meet you in a shop, or you serve me in a restaurant, I want the people around me to leave me better than they found me. If that's the type of person that I am, and if people say that about me, then I truly think that is a great person to be, and I will be proud to be that person, and I would like to strive to be more of that person and be that person, because I don't know if I necessarily am that person yet, but I want to be. And so, I mean, I guess that's the question. Who do I want to be? I want to be that person. I also want to be the person who has fun. I want to be the person who has fun and is known for having fun and just makes the most of experiences and has the most fun in any experience. I think I want to be that person. I want to be the person who lives the life that they want to live and the person who doesn't give up on their dreams, even if they don't really know what those dreams are. I want to be the person who continues to strive for a life that makes them happy, not a life that makes them special or famous or validated, but a life that makes them happy regardless of what that looks like. Whoever that is. I don't know who that is yet, but I want to be that person. Let's talk about being single. I've been single for 25 years. No, that's not true. I've been single for over 2 years. And the reason that this kind of was prompted is I was watching Squid Games and one of the girls was doing her talking head video and she said, oh, I'm getting older, I'm 24 and I'm not in a serious relationship. 24. And my sister and I, we were sitting on separate sofas and we were both just like, looked at each other. 24. This chick was complaining about being 24 and not in a serious relationship, and she was like, I really need to find this, like stressing about it. But that just goes to show the pressure is astronomical to be in a relationship. It is the pinnacle in our society of success and a worthy celebration. Nothing is more worthy a celebration than a marriage, an engagement, having a boyfriend. Even if you look at couples content online, that is the content that gets the most engagement, the most views. That is the most popular style of content. And so obviously, us single gals start to feel a little bit down about ourselves because we're like, maybe I want some of the action. Maybe I want some of those likes. Even me, all of the podcast episodes I've done on relationships have performed the best. On a recent TikTok I posted, a man commented saying, this chick is single for sure. Like being single is the biggest form of insult and the lowest status that you could possibly be, and the kind of best way to insult someone and get them down and really like hit them where it hurts is to emphasize the fact that they are not in a relationship with somebody else. It is so popular. I think there is a kind of a resurgence of like the single girl era, and it's very popular to be like, oh yeah, like this is my single girl era, single girlies unite. Like I want to figure out who I am before I get into a relationship. Almost like content kind of rejecting the idea that we should want a relationship. But even Cher likes being in relationships with men.
Do you still think men are unimportant?
You can live without them.
Yeah, you can.
But that's not as much fun.
I think for a long time, I felt the same way. I was like, I don't need a man, like single girl era, hashtag independent woman, don't need no man, hashtag gaslight gatekeep girl boss. But I think it's okay to desire a relationship. I feel like I've almost failed as an independent feminist gal when I start to think to myself, oh, maybe it would be nice to like have a relationship. It would be nice to have a boyfriend. And I do wonder within myself whether it is a conditioning and kind of this like hive mind mentality that you're seeing everyone else on social media in relationships, and so you're kind of conditioned to want that for yourself, or if it's a biological thing, like we are biologically wired to desire a mate, to procreate. And it's not like I want to procreate, but I would like to practice. But I feel like the more time I spend single and the more interactions I have with men online and in real life as well, but online a lot at the moment, the more I'm afraid to get into a relationship, the more I fear that I am always going to be single and I'm not going to find somebody else. So let's talk about that, because I hope that I'm not alone in that. Earlier this week, I cried because I got a comment on my Instagram from a guy saying, someone shut this mutt up. And it wasn't the comment that made me upset. Like, I thought that was hilarious. And reading it on its own, I thought that was quite hilarious. Just the idea of being called a mutt. The word mutt reminds me of the Hunger Games. And that I just thought was such a visceral image. I thought it was quite funny, very inventive. But then I started thinking, this man is an actual person. These men leaving derogatory hate comments. And I have, if you go on my Instagram with me comparing Taylor Swift to football, those comments are just filled with revolting derogatory comments from men. It's easy to forget that those are actual people, and those men turn off their phones and then they exist in the world. They have jobs where they interact with women. They have mothers, they have sisters, they maybe have girlfriends, but I mean, looking at the comments, it seems like they probably don't. But they want to date women and they interact with women on a daily basis, and that makes me so afraid. It makes me afraid that there are actually men out there that hate women so much, so internally, in a way that they don't even realize, that they go online and rip women to shreds and just insult women's appearance. You have no idea how many comments I've had over the last week about my appearance. Not a single one from a girl. Men call us bitches. Every single comment insulting my appearance is from a man. Never, ever, ever online have I had a comment from a woman insulting my appearance, ever. It's all from men. And these men actually exist, and this is the dating pool. Doesn't that make you afraid? That makes me terrified. I was listening to the Dropouts podcast yesterday. It's two guys who interview people, but they have a female assistant and she makes like cameos on their podcast sometimes. And someone in their subreddit or in their comments were talking about her being overweight. And they made comments about her being overweight, and it was just so disgusting. And she is very, very openly insecure about her weight. She wears a blanket on herself every episode that she's on the camera because she feels so insecure about her image. And there are these people insulting her and calling her fat and chubby, and it just made me sick to my stomach, because you know they are men. And it made me sick to my stomach that there are people out there willing to do that and willing to comment on people's body and their appearance on the internet. And it's like, I live by the rule that don't comment something about someone that they can't change in 2 minutes. So if someone's got something in their teeth, you better tell them. If someone's got a hair out of place, you better tell them. But things that people can't change in 2 minutes, you do not point out about their appearance. And I just think that is so disgusting. And the idea that there are people out there, men out there existing in the world, commenting negative things about women's bodies online makes me sick to my stomach, and it makes me afraid for my future in dating. In Chicago, I met a pickup artist, and I had only heard about these in actually this book, Men Who Hate Women. This is a fantastic book by Laura Bates if you haven't read it. That was the first time that I'd ever heard about pickup artists and the kind of concept of pickup artists. I met one in a hotel in Chicago, and I heard him on the phone. I walked into the room that he was in, and he was on the phone on like a Zoom call, and he was mentoring this guy on how to date and what his Tinder bio should be. He was giving him tips on his Tinder bio and what to write, and he was saying, you need to write this because then women will think certain things about you. And then they were talking later on about, because I'm enthralled by this point, so I walk into this room, I hear him talking, I'm like, what's going on? The room's pretty quiet so I can hear. I have my AirPods in, I pause that stuff. I nearly said shit. Oh, damn, Polly, brand friendly. I pause that immediately because I'm like, I need to listen to what's going on here. And he's telling this guy that how he needs to act in bars and lines he needs to say and things he needs to do. I am enthralled in the most terrifying way because it made me realize I'd read about this, okay, but it is different reading it and seeing it happen in real life, that there are men learning, paying money, investing in coaches and learning how to write things in their dating profiles to attract women, and they're getting advice on how they need to act and things they need to say and ways they need to be in bars and in social situations to attract women. Like, that to me feels like manipulation. To pay someone to tell you what to put in your dating profiles so that you can have a better chance with women. What happened to just like being yourself and acting with integrity to who you actually are? What happened to just going out in public and being a normal human? This to me feels so contrived. And the idea that there are actually men paying other men to teach them how to act. The funny thing is, I spoke to this guy after because I was like, this is intriguing. And I said, oh, so you have a girlfriend then? No, I'm single. I have really high standards. Nothing is a bigger red flag to me than anyone, man or woman, who says the reason I'm single is because I have really high standards. It's good to have high standards, okay? It's good to have standards of who you are. But saying I'm single because my standards are too high, red sirens go off to me, because to me that feels very much I'm the problem, it's me. But instead I like to deflect and make everything else everyone else's problem, because I can't see that the actual problem is me. That just makes me terrified. And it's not just men, okay? Like the pickup artist thing was excruciating for me. But then I had coffee with my friend the other day and she was talking about, if she listens to this, I'm so sorry, babe, I'm putting you on blast. I won't say your name, but love you. This is less about you and more about this experience because so many people do this. She was over analyzing this text and the lack of text that she was getting from this new guy she'd been talking to, thinking about what to say, what to do. Prior to speaking to me about it, she'd spoken to about 5 other people about it. And this is not a unique experience. I think so many people do this. And I just think we are so over analytical and try and manipulate situations to our benefit. What happened to just normal dating? And just like being nice. The reason that she felt like she had to be that way is because of the desires for a relationship. Like the desires are pure, the intentions are pure. Even with these pickup artists, their intentions, I like to believe, are pure. Like the reason they are paying people to help them get women is because deep down they want a relationship and they want love and they want a family and they want someone to love them. And I think that's so pure. And I think maybe deep down we all want that. Like we all want love. We all want to feel seen by someone. We want to find our people. It's such a pure intention, but when did it become so muddled? When did it become so like pathetic? I was listening to Goes Without Saying podcast, you know I love those girls, and they were talking about girl code and the idea that we can no longer trust our partners in our lives to tell us the truth and to be honest with us and open with us. So we've got this kind of universally acknowledged agreement that girls will bound together and tell each other things because we can't trust the people in our lives and our romantic partners to tell us themselves. That makes me devastated and afraid for my future, and that's not what I want for myself. I don't want to be in a relationship where I have to manipulate the text that I'm sending and analyze the messages that I'm sending and hold back from the messages I'm sending. And I've never been that person anyway. I've never been the type of person to not want to double text or not text first or not text back in a certain amount of time. Like I'm just if you text me and I read it, I'm going to text back and I'm not going to overthink too much about it. I get why we've become so insane about dating? Because it's the pits. Like, it is the pits out there. And for some reason, this is what it's come down to. And that makes me so sad. Oh my God, I feel like I'm in therapy. Thank you so much for listening to my stream of consciousness about dating, because it is scary. I think, like I said, like, comes with the purest of intentions, and we all desire love, but it's just become so it makes me feel yuck. I hope that was some sort of entertainment. If anything else, it definitely wasn't education. So I'm sorry about that. I just try and remind myself that life is long and we have time. I'm only 27. I've only got to find one guy, haven't I? I've got to find one guy who is gonna not overanalyze his texts and is not paying somebody to help him pursue me. I've just got to find one normal guy, and then we're good. And I hope you find yours too, or woman. Maybe, do you know, it would be easier if it was a woman. When people are like, oh, being gay is a choice, do you think I would pick men if being gay was a choice? If I could choose to be into women, don't you think I would do that? Crazy. That is a crazy statement to make. Okay, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Podmas. Podmas is getting, I feel, more and more unhinged. It's getting less valuable, more unhinged, and more just me telling you about the inner workings of my mind. So, okay, help me out. If you get to the end of this and you're still listening, comment a person or something. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a certain relationship, maybe it's your relationship, I hope it is for you, that makes you feel positive about the future of relationships and dating and love. Maybe it's a couple you know that are really in love and have a really healthy relationship. Maybe it's a podcast. For me, I recently found the We Are Man Enough. I think it's We Are Man Enough or You Are Man Enough Instagram account. It's a podcast. It's filled with these like very emotionally intelligent men. And the specific clip I found, it was a man declaring his love for his best friend who was also a man, and it was absolutely stunning and it made me cry. And that makes me feel hopeful about the future of men, knowing that there are men like that out there that are good and emotionally intelligent and not chatting shit about people in their comments. Sorry, brands, I promise I will do better to not swear. Let me know what yours is, okay? Tell me what gives you hope about the future of dating, because God, if there's anything I need, it's hope. Love you so much. Happy Podmas Day 14. God, we're really getting to the end. 10 days left after today. Love you so much. See you tomorrow. Mwah.